theme, championing plastic-free pollution-free action in the Philippines, is not just a slogan. It is an urgent call to action. As an archipelago, we are on the front lines of the plastic crisis. This isn't just about waste. It is a profound issue that threatens our environment, our tourism, our climate resilience, and public health. Okay. Can I just shoot on the slide? As we gather, we are eager to share our journey and demonstrate that we have indeed made significant and compelling accomplishment in environmental stewardship, and our experience from policy frameworks to grassroots initiatives underscore our dedication to fostering environmental stewardship across all sectors. Here in the Philippines, we believe passionately in the transformative power of our youth. We deeply value the collaborative spirit of ASEAN, and we are excited as organizers to engage in meaningful discussion, share our experiences, and collectively advance our shared goals in promoting a sustainable and plastic-free Philippines. I don't think it. Then of course, can you turn to the next slide, please? Next slide. Let me share to you among the legal and policy framework in place in the Philippines to address plastics. Republic Act 9003, also known as Ecological Solid Waste Management Act of 2000, incidentally, it's been a long past law in the country, remains one of the most forward-looking environmental laws in the country's history when it was developed. At a time when sustainability is not yet part of everyday discourse, RA 9003 has already asserted as a clear principle that waste must be reduced at source, managed responsibly, and addressed through shared responsibility from government to communities, from industries to households. This law has changed the way we think about waste. It told us that solid waste management is not merely a technical concern, but a matter of governance, discipline, and collective action. For the past 25 years, some of you might be not yet alive by the time it was passed in 2000, has delivered meaningful gains across the country. We have seen how open dump sites have gradually closed, how materials recovery facilities have been established, and the integration of solid waste management in the local planning processes. More importantly, we have witnessed the growing participation of communities and local governments in implementing ecological solutions suited in their realities. Then come, in 2002, the Republic Act for Extended Producers' Responsibility. This law, or in 2000, or Republic Act 11890, while the EPR law focused on plastic waste, we consider it as a crucial first step toward fully engaging the private sector in the cradle-to-grave cycle. Obliged enterprises are required to register and develop programs that implement upstream and downstream measures, including reducing the volume of plastic waste, promoting recovery initiatives, encouraging innovation in waste reduction, and redesigning products to enhance reusability, recyclability, and overall environmental performance. Through this legislation, producers are now directly involved in collection, recycling, and responsible disposal of their products. As we build on the foundation of this new law, participation continues to grow. As of 2025, 201 entities are registered under the EPR framework. A total of 700 obliged enterprises is actively implementing EPR initiatives, complemented by participation of 300 micro, small, and medium enterprises. In 2024 alone, we recorded a plastic footprint of 440.59 million kilos, from which 246.62 million kilos were successfully diverted. This includes 125 or 28 million kilos of flexible plastics and 121.37 million kilos of rigid plastics, resulting in a 55.98% national diversion rate over the mandated 40%. The progress we have made in the first year speaks of the growing interest of producers, partners, and stakeholders in stepping up and owning their roles in plastic-free management. Then lastly, I'd like to talk how our youth are engaged in plastic-free actions in the Philippines. The Philippines has a Republic Act which is entitled National Environmental and Awareness Act of 2008. It is a landmark legislation, a cornerstone of Philippine environmental education. It mandates the integration of environmental education into the school curricula at all levels, from daycare to higher education. It includes technical and vocational and non-formal education. It also declares November as Environmental Awareness Month, fostering nationwide campaigns and activities. This comprehensive legal backing provides a solid foundation to sustain environmental efforts in the Philippines. How do we do this program? We have an integration across all education levels. Under RA 9512, the country has actively integrated environmental education concepts in various subjects within the K-12 curriculum, as well as higher education and technical vocational courses. This ensures that environmental awareness and responsibility are still in early age and continue throughout the learner's environmental journey. Next slide. Under this program also, we have created the National Search for Sustainable and Eco-Friendly School. This program is part of the implementation of the roadmap for RA 9512. This recognizes schools for their efforts in integrating environmental education into the instruction, administration, and into their program. It encourages active involvement in environmental issues at practical and local levels and develops skills among students, faculty, and administrators. This initiative was successfully identified and awarded eco-friendly schools nationwide. And lastly, we have professional development for educators. It also mandates capacity building for educators, including training, seminars, workshops, and the development of materials and teacher education courses. This ensures that teachers are equipped with the knowledge and skills to effectively deliver environmental education across all levels. Then for our active campaigns, the Environmental Management Bureau, also the DNR, actively contributes in social media information campaigns, upcycling workshop, seminar in plastic pollution, and community mobilization activity such as our Adapt and Stero Water Body program. Its annual accomplishment reports widespread reach and engagement in solid waste management. The emphasis on continuous assessment and identification of areas for improvement such as strengthening of application, knowledge, and skills demonstrate a confinement to refining our environmental programs for greater impact. The journey for plastic-free Philippines and environmental management in the Philippines is never easy. To the youth in this room, we do not see you as merely beneficiaries of these policies. We see you as partners, co-creators, and policies become more innovative when young people are involved. You bring the creativity, the moral courage to challenge institutions to do better. For our part, the EMB and the government commits to strengthening this partnership. We will provide platform, technical assistance, and institutional support. We want to collaborate with you on community-based projects that turn your advocacy into measurable results. As we look ahead, your leadership is crucial. Whether it is advocating for sustainable lifestyle or raising awareness in your communities, your actions contribute directly to our national goals. The path to a plastic-free Philippines will pave the young leaders who are willing to lead by example. In closing, let me reiterate that the future of our environment rests on your hands. The government is here to support you, guide you, and stand beside you as you champion this cause. Every initiative we undertake brings us closer to our Philippines where our environment is clean and our ecosystem is thriving. Together, let us transform ambition into action for a cleaner and greener ASEAN. Maraming salamat at isang makakailasang araw po sa atin.